4.
Welcome back to Healing from the Rough with Next 18. Today we're going to finish up Jonathan Freyer's two-part episode. Today we're going to get a little bit more into the stigmas that Jonathan dealt with and the traumas post-military career and how he got out of that through the game of golf. When we get done with the episode, we're going to have our favorite 25-question speed round. So thanks for listening. If you're enjoying what you're seeing, please like, share, subscribe. Help us spread the word so that we can get more vets and first responders involved and so that more people can hear our word and we can get this stigma of not asking for help, not talking about our problems to go away. Thank you. So John, back here with episode 2, and you really started opening up in the last podcast about the things that you've gone through in service. And one of the main components of Healing from the Rough is getting individuals together, especially vets and first responders, that historically don't share our traumas for whatever reason. It's ingrained in us in basic training, maybe programming as a child, but those stigmas that we know that exist with not opening up and sharing about our shit, how did those come into your traumatic experiences and kind of maybe not allow you to open up just because of what you had been used to?
Yeah, I take that from an interesting point of view. I grew up the son of a Lutheran minister, and what he taught me along with my mom is compassion, empathy. You should treat humans the way you wanted to be treated. So growing up in Mequon, it's a nice area. Went to Homestead High School. I think I had mentioned previously, but what got me was once I went to Fort Benning, Georgia, and I look at it now, I'm 52, but looking back, after basic training, that's almost a traumatic experience in itself. So what they do is they tear you down to the point that you're scared to do anything in a sense, but then they build you up the way they want an infantry soldier to be. And the cool thing about that is that's what you need to have a successful military, is you have a bunch of individuals that will follow orders and not ask questions. But so what hit me was it contradicted my 17 years of treat everybody with dignity, respect, don't hurt anybody, where now the drill sergeant's yelling, "What's the spirit of the bayonet?" and we respond to kill and kill without mercy. And so they did a great job with me. Went to the 101st, had a good time, but I was in the peacetime army at that time. But what that did to me is it shut me down. So once I experienced my injuries in Iraq and again in Afghanistan, I wasn't one to talk about it. So again, I appreciate what you guys are doing here because it allows me to talk about my experiences that I seldom talk about. So in the military, I guess, when you see something that you may think, hey, this doesn't smell right, or this isn't from an integrity standpoint, this needs to be changed. It's ironic because to be a good officer, you should have integrity, you should stand up. But I've seen in the past is if I stood up, you become the focal point of potentially a toxic leader, that I'm the guy with the problem, not him. Or I've dealt with toxic followership. That's an interesting subject. If you have a group that's under you that doesn't like you, it's going to be a hard leadership role. So that's the part of the Army that you hear all the stories of World War II, Korea, Vietnam, where hey, it's a team, you all love each other. But in some situations, no, there's little cliques that form. They don't like certain people, and if you stand up for something that you know is right, it's not right to the group. And that's I don't know if that's called groupthink or whatever, but that's the scary part, because a lot of times I've deployed for at least since Iraq, maybe 3 years of deployment time, 3 different operations. That it's tough to be away from home knowing you left your family. I have 3 children and a wife, and you're dealing with stuff like that. That's not why I joined the Army. I joined the Army to hopefully defeat evil and make this world a better place. But on the flip side, again, I actually forgot what the question was. But
Stigmas and how allowing them to exist and buying into them maybe led you down a little bit of a darker hole.
Okay, so my darkness was not standing up for my beliefs, where in 2017, where pretty much my career ended, even though I'm still in, I realized it's not about taking the hard jobs, doing the hard jobs in the military anymore. I'm going to serve my country the way I can. I don't know if it's my TBI, my post-traumatic stress, that caused whatever happened to happen, but I'm now free to attend programs like Next 18. I've done a Marcus Institute of Brain Health. I did a 3-week program there, the Travis Mills Foundation. So these are great programs. What I see happens is once you're in the program, during that week it's beautiful, maybe the week or two after, but then after you get back to your real life and all the busyness comes back, you sort of lose that. So for people that are doing programs like this, stay disciplined, keep doing what you're taught to do, and stick to it, because if you get back into that dark hole, you're just starting that process over again. So it's not like we can all up and quit our jobs and live the good life, but it's a discipline thing that you just have to change your mindset, and like you've said, it is what it is, and just move on. So.
Thanks, John. Appreciate it.
Are you a veteran or first responder who has gone through some mental health struggles in your life, whether it's PTSD or other mental health issues, and you found a way to heal through golf? Make sure you hit us up. Hit me on the email, joseph.melsack@hftr.us. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. We'll get you out here to beautiful Hawksview Golf Club in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, and we'll play around at golf. We'll talk about everything, and we'll try to break down the stigmas and help out everybody else. Thank you, and we'll see you soon. So, as we walk down this mountain, I try not to bite it face first. Give us kind of a description of your aha moment that kind of helped you or made you think that it's time that I finally deal with my mental health and open up and go from there.
Yeah, so after my experience in Iraq, that's when I first was diagnosed with, back then it was post-traumatic stress disorder, but I don't know if President Bush started, but they want to get rid of the disorder part of it, so it's now just post-traumatic stress. So that I knew something wasn't right, but again, the Army teaches you resiliency, and I think I misdefined it in my own self. So to me, resiliency was suck it up, drive on, just move on, stay busy, and life will get good over time. So that was 2006. So in 2007, I deployed to Kosovo, which was a peaceful area, but after doing a year in Iraq, I just needed to get back into that type of zone. So I did about 11 months over in Kosovo. After that, in 2012, I got called up for Afghanistan. So because the Army had already given me a profile for post-traumatic stress, when I was at Camp Atterbury, I had to see a psychologist on the base to, not that she would say directly, but she was more or less inferring, hey, you don't have to go if you don't want. But what hit me as an officer in the Army is if I don't go, somebody's got to go. And it was still ingrained in my head that the best place to be as a military guy with post-traumatic stress, in my mind, was the combat zone. So I was willing to go. So they, CENTCOM signed off on the paperwork. I fly off to Afghanistan. And I was stationed at FOB Salerno. And it was June 1st, I believe 2012, we were hit with a 1-ton explosive on the back of a pickup truck. We were a brigade-size base, but what's interesting is the enemy videotaped it. So it's out on the internet. They taped it from 3 sides, so you can see the size of the explosion and how the ripple effect, or how it just goes across the base. Well, I was 250 feet from that. I was on the base in the chow hall, but when it occurred, the chow hall was hit and the ceiling fell. It was chaos again, and with somebody with post-traumatic stress, it's really not good to be in that scenario again. And I explain it as though both incidents, it's almost what we're doing now. We're just talking, it's a beautiful sunny day, and now imagine something blowing up and it's all chaos. So that's part of the craziness. So in Afghanistan, after that occurred, I would say I wasn't right for about a month, and the irony is you're back out on mission within 2 days, so you're now back outside the wire trying to do your job as a civil affairs officer. I had a perforated eardrum, I found out the next day. Then they did the TBI test and all that, but the aha moment came. I kept being resilient, so when I came back from Afghanistan, I continued to serve in the reserve. I was still taking the hard jobs. So it got to a point I put in for battalion command. And on the reserve side, it's hard to get, but we're also short of officers nowadays that not many people put in for it.
Right.
So I was accepted, and I served in a unit. I live in Milwaukee. The unit was at Fort Story, Virginia. So now I'm flying every month to attend drill, doing what I think is, I enjoyed it. It was a great job because you're the head of a battalion. You're doing great missions, but you do yearly training briefings where you brief your commander, who's a one-star general. And there was a briefing that I did that it went bad in a sense. I don't know if the general was just having a bad day, if I was, in his eyes, just incompetent. Well, it turned into, in my mind, I describe it probably as my most humiliating moment. And that was my aha. So 2017, after that concluded, it wasn't like a couple seconds, it was a whole hour briefing. 200 of my peers, superiors, I think there was a 2-star general in the room. They just kept going. And some people, it's weird looking back as my perception. Who knows if what was true or not. Mm-hmm. But I know I was in that fight, flight, or freeze moment. But the aha moment, I guess, I'm in Maryland at the time. And the part that hit me was after the briefing occurred. I go back, I'm dumbfounded, like what the heck just happened? Mm-hmm. I sit down and all of a sudden my phone starts binging. So it's my wife, my 3 kids saying, "Dad, you're gonna do a great job, we're here for you." They have no clue this was the worst moment in my life, right, from an Army standpoint, because here I'm thinking I'm a confident officer, and this just destroyed me. So knowing that I have a bunch of peer lieutenant colonels that they would have got through it, they would have just accepted and moved on, well, it destroyed me. And by being destroyed, I can look at it as a post-traumatic growth moment that I said to my wife, I need help, man, because this isn't right. At the time, 50-year-old guy can't brief a general and take a question that maybe is a little hard. But it almost felt like IEDs, where every question that was coming, I don't know if I know the answer. I probably did know it, but I was so flustered that it was not good. So, ironically, I had worked with President Bush, had a Warrior Open in 2014 that I was invited to, so I became part of Team 43. So we had a contact that worked with the President Bush Institute that we called, and she immediately got me into the Marcus Institute for Brain Health. It was a 3-week program. That was a blessing. That it helped me focus. It helped me take some time to myself. And at that point, I just said, hey, I need the help. I understand there's just something not going on right here. So I got through that. It was 2017. It's now 2022. I'm continuing to serve. I'm not taking the hard jobs. Plus, the evaluation report that time wasn't that good, so that sort of was a career ender. But it's a blessing in disguise because I don't have to fly halfway across the country and play the game. I can just do what I'm good at, and just serve my country, because that's the reason I joined, was just to be serve my country and have a good time. So that was the aha moment. I probably had many aha moments from 2006 up to that time, but I just wasn't smart enough to identify it. So if anybody's out there that's recently suffered any type of trauma, get the help immediately, because if you try to be resilient and you misdefine it like I did, it doesn't mean suck it up and drive on. It means go find either a program, go to the hospital, go do whatever you got to do just to get help, because the key to life in my mind is just to have fun, live in the moment. And a lot of time I was just dreading the future. I was reliving the past every day, and now, like, doing stuff like this, it's just living in the moment.
So if you're a veteran or first responder and you want to come to a golf camp, come to be at one of the Next 18 events, all you need to do is go online to next18.org. You can find us on Facebook, you can find us on LinkedIn, and you can find us on Instagram currently. All of those resources have links to get to our website to find our application page. Or you can reach out to me, Matt, M-A-T-T, at next18.org. I can give you any information you need. We would love to have you at a camp. And I realize you might be asking yourself, yeah, we're going to go play golf. Do I really want to deal with my mental health? Do I really want to deal with some of these things that I'm not a fan of dealing with? I think you should come here. You should get the resources. and just be open-minded to maybe living a healthier, happier life. These guys are having a great time. All right, John, so we've covered a couple things in this episode, and I know we just talked about those aha moments, right, where we start to identify maybe we do need to look inward and kind of tackle the things that we've gone through as a vet or a first responder. The other half of this podcast is golf, right? Healing from the rough. How has the game of golf been there for you as you've kind of navigated through your mental health and gotten to this point in your life?
What I love about golf is you have to be in the moment to play golf, because that little white ball is the moment, and then you take that swing, that moment just flew, and it's going to become another moment. So it causes you to not think about what happened 10 years ago. You don't have time to think about what's going to happen 10 years from now. So that's probably the biggest thing for me, is just that living in the moment on the golf course. I had mentioned earlier, starting golf fairly young, it just becomes, to me, that golf courses around the world, I think, are just safe havens. Like, you don't have to, in a sense, worry about those unexpected explosions like you see in war. You can live in the moment. And I just always like golf because it's just like life. Is you could think you're going up to the tee, you're going to hit a drive 300 yards straight down the middle. So in life, you could go up to that podium, give the best brief into the general, and everything's fine. Well, in reality, as you just saw, I tee off and it goes maybe 10 feet. And it's not like the real world where life stops. You have 18 more holes to go. So you got to go up to that 10-foot hit and hit another shot. And it could go 10 feet or it could go 300 down the middle. So what I like about life, it's like golf, is you just don't give up. You know you put in for 18 holes, you got to finish the 18 holes. So just like life, think of it, your birth is that first hole, and as long as you go, when you're 80, 90 years old, that may be your 18th hole. So just keep going until you put that ball in the hole, and then I think that's when life's complete. For those we've lost early, my hope is that up there in heaven there's a nice golf course, so they were too good to play down here. They got to go up there and finish their round. But that's, I guess that's, to me, what golf has done for me. It just makes me live in the moment.
It's awesome that you say that, because we're out here at Hawks View right now in Lake Geneva, and the part about a haven, we're literally, there's no one around us. It's all nature. There's no one around us. The next closest group is like 2 holes away. This is our sanctuary. We're out here, it's like 7 o'clock at night, it's quiet, you know, you just listen to the birds. It's 100% what you're saying. It's I think we come here to escape, but then you also find yourself too. So John, we're on the 9th hole here, and one of the last questions we like to ask, you know, part of the big thing obviously that we've talked about in the past, what we're doing here is getting people to address trauma and address stigmas. Is there any advice that you would have for anyone listening as far as tackling mental health and handling it in a positive way?
Yeah, I would say as soon as you identify that you need help, go get it. Don't try to be the tough guy or the tough girl and suck it up, drive on. Even if it's as simple as just talking to a friend, family member, if that can help you in that moment, maybe they can help you get the medical attention you need. And that's exactly what happened to me. Was I hit rock bottom. My wife, she knew it. She saw a change in me, and we immediately notified a contact named Emily with the President Bush Institute, and she provided me the name of the individuals that could help. So I took that offer. So in my situation, because I am married with 3 kids, they definitely are my inspiration for continuing to live life. We're all here for a reason. I always joke about it. I think you figure out the meaning of life probably the moment you die, and that could be most people's purpose. And I don't know. I think through that every day. But with my family, I appreciate what they've done for me over the years, and I wish there were more programs out there that could potentially help our wives in the military and our kids. That I know there are some local camps here in town that help wounded warriors and soldiers that have been killed in action. They help their kids, but it's an interesting environment because most soldiers, you can't really serve without the support of your family. That sometimes it's your parents, your wife, your kids, your sisters, your brothers. I think the successful soldier, Marine, are those that have the support of their family, and that's what makes this country strong. And I think what makes us really strong is when we are united, and that's I guess with the initial questions, yeah, when you feel that something's just not right, because we all live for so many years, we know what's right, what right looks like in our life. So if any reason you just don't feel right mentally, or you suffer some sort of trauma, yeah, get help as soon as possible.
Awesome. Thanks, John.
Yeah.
So first of all, from Joe and myself and Healing from the Rough, thanks for being out here, taking time to come and talk with us, play around a golf out at Hawks View. The last thing we do with our episode 2 is 25 question speed round. So I'm just going to ask you 25 questions. Go with your gut instinct on everyone. Okay? Talking or texting?
Talking.
Last song you downloaded?
I think it was Wham. What the heck song is Wham? I don't know.
Okay. Favorite holiday?
It's not Thanksgiving because that's when I was blown up, so probably Christmas.
And that's not my favorite one. So, is it wrong for a vegetarian to eat animal crackers?
No.
How long does it take you to get ready in the morning?
Well, if I have to shave my head, it's a little longer. If it's not a shave the head day, then probably 10 minutes.
Place you most want to travel?
I would love to go back to the Sinai, Egypt. That's where I was stationed for 6 months.
Awesome.
Sharm el Sheikh.
Favorite food?
Spaghetti.
Say a word in Spanish.
Adios.
Socks with sandals, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Is double dipping at a party ever acceptable?
Sure.
Godfather or Scarface?
Scarface.
Scale 1 to 10, how good are you at wiffle ball?
We used to play it in Mama Dia, so I'd say a 9.
Okay. Okay. Ideal outside temperature?
80.
How many stuffed animals do you sleep with?
My wife, I consider her a stuffed animal, but no stuffed animals.
She's gonna see this, just so you know.
How many spritzes of cologne is too much?
There's never too much cologne.
Okay. Ask for permission or beg for forgiveness?
Beg for forgiveness.
What is a triangle with 2 sides called?
Triangle with 2 sides, it's a straight line.
You know, I said the same thing. Like lines. Climb a mountain or jump out of a plane?
I've climbed a mountain, so I have yet to jump out of a plane, so I would like to do that.
It's a good time. Lose your hair or gain 50 pounds?
I've done both.
Okay. Bug in your house, set it free or kill it?
Set it free.
One food you could eat every meal besides spaghetti?
Steak.
Would you fly into space?
Yes.
Twizzlers or Red Vines?
Twizzlers.
Who inspires you?
I'm inspired by people that just don't give up.
Okay, I can respect that. And lastly, golf course you want to play most in life?
I mentioned Sharm el Sheikh again. So when I was there were no golf courses, but now they've built some over there. So again, I would love to go back there and play some of their courses.
Awesome, man.
So,
Hey, John, thanks for being out here. It's great seeing you again. Thank you for sharing everything that you did.
thanks for having me.
Not a problem.
All right.
Appreciate you, sir.
All right. Thank you, Joe.
Thanks again for joining us for part 2 with Jonathan Freyer. We had a great time out here today golfing with him. Looking forward to seeing him again in the future. Don't forget, if you want to take part in these episodes, come out here and play at the fantastic Hawksview Golf Club in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. Email me at joseph.melsack@hftr.us, and hopefully we'll hear from you soon. And if anything, we'll see you next week. Thanks. Bye-bye.